Rain hammered against the floor-to-ceiling windows of the sterile gallery space. Isla Monroe stood before her unsold paintings, each canvas a piece of her soul that nobody wanted. Her paint-stained denim jacket hung loose over a faded black tank top and ripped jeans, her dark hair pulled back in a messy bun. The rejection letters in her bag felt heavier than stone. The gallery owner's voice cut through her thoughts. "Miss Monroe, there's someone here to see you." She turned. A man stood in the doorway, perfectly still. Chen wore a charcoal suit tailored to precision, crisp white shirt open at the collar, Italian leather shoes reflecting the gallery's dim lights. His face was angular, handsome in a cold way, with eyes that calculated everything they touched. Behind him, the city's neon signs bled color through the rain. "You're Isla Monroe." Not a question. A statement. Depends who's asking. He stepped closer. The scent of expensive cologne mixed with rain. "I have a business proposal. One that could solve your financial problems." Her stomach tightened. "I don't do that kind of business." "It's not what you think." He pulled out a folder, placed it on the white pedestal between them. "My father is dying. Cancer. He has 6 weeks, maybe 8. His final wish is to see me engaged before he goes. So get engaged." "I can't." His jaw clenched. "Every woman I've dated wanted my money or my name. My father deserves better than watching me parade another social climber through his hospital room." Isla crossed her arms. "And I'm different because I'm poor? You're different because you're real." His eyes locked onto hers. "I've researched you. No social media presence. No connections to my world. No agenda beyond survival." The word survival hit like a fist. Her landlord's eviction notice. Her brother's medical bills from the accident. The maxed-out credit cards. "What exactly are you proposing?" Marcus opened the folder. Inside, a contract and a photograph of an elderly man with kind eyes, hooked to machines. "Pretend to be my fiancé. Visit my father twice a week. Attend 3 family dinners. When he passes, we stage a quiet breakup. Total time, 2 months maximum. And payment, 50,000 upfront. Another 50 when it ends. All your debts cleared. A clean slate." The gallery lights flickered. Thunder rolled overhead. $100,000. It was obscene. It was insulting. It was her only way out. "Why should I trust you?" "Because I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to sign a contract." He pulled out a pen, set it beside the papers. "This is business. Nothing more." Isla stared at the photograph. The dying man smiled despite the tubes. Somewhere in her chest, something cracked. She thought of her own father, dead 3 years now, who'd never asked for anything but had deserved everything. Her hand shook as she reached for the pen. "If I do this, we have rules. I'm not some doll you parade around. I speak my mind. I won't be controlled." Marcus's expression didn't change. "Agreed. But in return, you commit fully. No half measures. My father is dying, Miss Monroe. I won't let his final days be tainted by a performance that feels like a lie. Everything about this is a lie. Then make it a convincing one." She signed her name at the bottom of the page, each letter feeling like a betrayal of herself. When she looked up, Marcus was watching her with an intensity that made her skin prickle. "Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. My father wants to meet you." He pocketed the contract. "Wear something appropriate. Not that." He gestured to her paint-stained clothes before turning toward the door. "Mr. Chen." He stopped. "What happens if I catch feelings? What happens if this gets complicated?" For the first time, something flickered across his face. "Fear, maybe. Or recognition. Then we both lose everything." The door closed behind him. Isla stood alone in the empty gallery, rain streaming down the windows, feeling like she'd just sold something far more valuable than her art. Her phone buzzed. A bank transfer notification. $50,000. Real. Binding. Irreversible. Outside, through the rain-soaked glass, she saw Marcus climb into a black car. Lightning illuminated his face for just a moment, and she could have sworn she saw something broken there, something that matched the fractures in her own heart. The car disappeared into the storm. Isla pressed her palm against the cold window and whispered to her reflection, "What have I done?" The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and dying flowers. Isla stood in the hallway, smoothing down the simple navy dress Marcus's assistant had delivered that morning. It fit perfectly, which somehow made her feel more like a fraud. Her hair was down now, falling in waves past her shoulders. Small pearl earrings borrowed. Nude heels that pinched. A costume for a role she'd never auditioned for. Marcus appeared beside her, wearing a soft gray sweater and dark slacks, deliberately casual, but still expensive. He looked different here, less marble statue, more human. "Ready?" "No." "Good. Fear makes people authentic." He pushed open the door. David Chen sat propped against pillows, skeletal but alert. His eyes, the same dark brown as his son's, studied Isla with unsettling clarity. Medical equipment beeped softly. Afternoon light filtered through half-drawn blinds, casting shadows across his sunken face. "So you're the girl who finally caught him." David's voice was weak but warm. Isla felt Marcus tense beside her. She stepped forward, letting instinct guide her. "I don't think anyone catches Marcus, Mr. Chen. He's not the type to be caught." David laughed, which turned into coughing. Marcus moved instantly, adjusting pillows, offering water. The gesture was so tender it made Isla's throat tight. "She's got your number already, son." David waved them closer. "Sit. Both of you. Tell me how this happened." They'd rehearsed this. A chance meeting at a charity event. Conversation about art and technology. Coffee that turned into dinner. But as Isla opened her mouth, something different came out. "He found me in a gallery, standing in front of paintings nobody wanted. I was ready to give up." She glanced at Marcus, whose expression had gone very still. "He looked at my work like it mattered. Like I mattered. That's not something you forget." It wasn't the script. But it was true in a twisted way. David studied her face. "You love him?" The question hung in the air like smoke. Isla felt Marcus watching her, waiting. "I don't know yet," she said quietly. "But I'm starting to understand him. That might be more dangerous." Something shifted in David's eyes. Approval, maybe. Or recognition. Honesty. "I like that." He looked at his son. "You chose well." Marcus's hand found hers. His palm was warm, his grip firm. "For the cameras," she told herself. "For the performance." "She chose me back," Marcus said. "That's the miracle." They stayed for an hour. David told stories about Marcus as a boy, building robots from scraps, reading philosophy at 8, always alone. Always calculating. Isla watched Marcus's face as his father spoke, saw the microscopic flinches, the careful control cracking at the edges. When David grew tired, they said their goodbyes. In the hallway, Marcus walked ahead fast, jaw clenched. "You went off script. Your father needed real. I gave him real. You don't know what he needs." "I know what dying people need." Her voice cracked. "I watched my father waste away too. They need to believe the people they love will be okay when they're gone." Marcus stopped. Turned. The hospital fluorescence made him look ghostly. "Don't do that." "Do what?" "Make this about more than the contract. Don't project your grief onto my situation. Maybe your situation needs grief." The words came out louder than intended. A nurse glanced over. Isla lowered her voice. "You stand in that room like you're reporting quarterly earnings. He's your father, Marcus. He's dying. You think I don't know that?" His composure finally shattered. "You think I don't count every breath, every moment? I built a $10 billion company. I can solve problems no one else can touch. But I can't fix this. I can't save him. So yes, I hired you. Because giving him peace is the only thing left I can do." The confession hung between them, raw and bleeding. Isla stepped closer. Close enough to see the exhaustion carved into his face, the grief he buried under ice. "Then let me help you carry it." That's what people do when they care about each other. We don't care about each other. We have a contract. Do we? The question landed like a blade. Marcus stared at her, something dangerous building in his eyes. The space between them felt electric, charged with everything unsaid. His phone shattered the moment. He glanced at the screen, and his entire body went rigid. "What is it?" My brother. He looked up, and for the first time since they'd met, she saw real fear. James is flying in from Singapore. Tomorrow. So he doesn't know about you. And James has a talent for destroying everything I build. Marcus gripped his phone so hard it might crack. He'll see through this in seconds. He'll tell my father. And my father's last days will be spent knowing I lied to him. Isla's pulse hammered. Then we make it believable. How? She took his hand, properly this time, threading her fingers through his. He stiffened, but didn't pull away. We stop pretending this is just business. We commit. Fully. The way you asked me to. That's dangerous. Everything about this is dangerous. Marcus looked down at their joined hands. When he met her eyes again, something had shifted. A wall coming down. Or maybe a door opening. If we do this, there's no going back. I know. He stepped closer, his free hand rising to her face, hovering just beside her cheek. Not touching. Not yet. The hospital noises faded. The world narrowed to his eyes, dark and infinite and terrified. I need to know you understand what you're agreeing to. I understand. Do you? His thumb grazed her jaw, featherlight. Because James will push every boundary. He'll test you. Break you if he can. And if he suspects you're not real, he'll burn everything down. Then we give him a performance worth believing. Marcus's expression turned predatory. Determined. Tomorrow night. Dinner. My family estate. You'll meet James, my stepmother Victoria, my half-sister Simone. They're wolves, Isla. Every single one. Good thing I've got teeth too. The corner of his mouth lifted. Almost a smile. He let his hand drop, but kept holding hers. There's something else you should know. What? James was supposed to inherit the company. My father changed his will after I built the business into what it is now. James has spent 5 years trying to prove I'm unfit. Unstable. Unworthy. Marcus's voice went cold. Finding out about you, about us, he'll use it. He'll dig into your past, your debts, your brother's accident. Nothing will be off limits. Fear spiked through her. Marcus, my brother, if someone goes digging into what happened that night. What happened? She pulled her hand away. Something I buried. Something that could destroy me. Tell me. Not yet. She backed toward the elevator. But if James finds it first, this whole thing collapses. And we both lose. The elevator doors opened. Isla stepped inside, watching Marcus's face as the doors began to close. He looked like a man watching something precious slip away. Isla. She held the doors. Yeah. Whatever you're hiding, it won't change the contract. You're protected. Am I? Or am I just useful until I'm not? The doors closed on his silence. Isla pressed her back against the elevator wall, heart racing. Through the small window, she saw Marcus standing alone in the hallway, looking more lost than any billionaire should ever look. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Welcome to the family. Can't wait to meet the woman who finally tamed the robot. See you tomorrow. Jay. Isla stared at the message. James Chen. Already circling. Already hunting. She typed back, looking forward to it. The lie came easier than it should have. But then again, everything about this had been a lie from the beginning. The only question now was which lie would destroy them first. The Chen family estate sprawled across manicured grounds, all stone and steel and old money. Isla stood at the base of the marble steps, wearing an emerald silk dress Marcus had sent over, her hair swept up in an elegant twist. She looked like she belonged. That was the most dangerous lie of all. Marcus emerged from his car, devastating in a black suit and burgundy tie. He climbed the steps to meet her, his expression unreadable. Last chance to run. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Get your money back. I'd respect it. He offered his arm. But I'd also be disappointed. Why? Because you're the first real thing in my life in years. Even if you're fake. Before she could respond, the double doors burst open. A man identical to Marcus but softer, looser, strode out. James Chen wore a tailored navy suit with no tie, top buttons undone, expensive watch glinting. Where Marcus was controlled fire, James was wildfire. The prodigal fiancé. James spread his arms wide, grinning. Let me see the woman who performed the impossible. He swept Isla into an embrace before she could react. His cologne was different from Marcus's, sweeter, more aggressive. When he pulled back, his hands lingered on her shoulders. James. Marcus's voice could cut glass. Personal space. Relax, brother. I'm just being welcoming. James turned his full attention to Isla, eyes sharp despite the easy smile. You're even more beautiful than the private investigator's photos suggested. Ice flooded Isla's veins. You had me investigated? Standard protocol for anyone entering the family. You understand. James gestured toward the door. Shall we? Victoria and Simone are dying to meet you. Inside, the foyer was cathedral-sized, all marble and crystal chandeliers. A grand staircase swept upward like something from a dream. Isla felt Marcus's hand find the small of her back, steadying. Victoria Chen emerged from a side room, glacial in a cream pantsuit, diamonds at her throat. Her blonde hair was perfect, her smile sharp. Behind her, Simone, barely 20, watched with calculating eyes, dressed in designer black, phone already raised. For my followers, Simone explained, snapping a photo before Isla could protest. Mystery fiancé finally revealed. This'll get 1 million likes. Simone put it away. Marcus's command was ice cold. Why? Afraid of what people will find when they start digging into her background. The dinner was warfare disguised as hospitality. They sat at a table long enough for 20, crystal and silver gleaming under chandelier light. Staff in crisp uniforms served courses Isla couldn't name. She felt every eye measuring her worth with each bite. So, Isla. Victoria's voice was silk over steel. Marcus tells us you're an artist. How quaint. It pays the bills. Isla met her gaze. When people appreciate real work. And do they? Appreciate your work. Some do. The ones who matter. James laughed, pouring wine. She's got spine, Marcus. I'll give you that. Tell us about your family, Victoria continued. Your parents, siblings? Marcus's hand found Isla's under the table, squeezing warning. But she was done being careful. My father died 3 years ago. Heart attack. My mother left when I was 12. My brother, he's all I have left. Her voice didn't shake. We take care of each other. How touching. Victoria's smile never reached her eyes. And does he approve of this whirlwind romance? He trusts my judgment. Does he? James leaned forward, danger dancing in his eyes. Even after what happened the night of his accident? The room went silent. Isla felt the blood drain from her face. Beside her, Marcus went very still. What are you talking about? Marcus's voice was lethal quiet. Oh, you didn't tell him? James's grin widened. Isla's brother, Tyler Monroe, 23, nearly died in a car accident 6 months ago. Single vehicle collision, late night, rural road. Police found alcohol in his system. He paused. But here's the interesting part. Witnesses reported a second person in the car. A woman. Who disappeared before emergency services arrived. Isla's heart hammered so hard she thought it might break through her ribs. She fled the scene, James continued, eyes locked on Isla. Left her own brother bleeding on the pavement. The police never found her. The case is still technically open. That's enough. Marcus stood, his chair scraping against marble. Is it? Because I'm wondering why my brother's supposedly loving fiancé would have such a conveniently buried past. Makes a girl look desperate. James tilted his head. Or guilty. Isla stood on shaking legs. You want the truth? Fine. I was in that car. Tyler was driving drunk, and I tried to stop him. When we crashed, I panicked. I ran. By the time I came back with help, the ambulance was already there. Her voice cracked. I've lived with that shame every single day. It's why I work 3 jobs to pay his medical bills. It's why I do anything to take care of him now. Including pretending to love my brother for money. The accusation hung in the air like poison. Marcus moved between them. You've made your point, James. Now back off. Have I? James stood, buttoning his jacket. Or have I just proven that this entire relationship is a transaction? That you're so desperate for father's approval, you'd hire someone to play pretend. This isn't pretend. The words came from Isla, fierce and raw. She stepped around Marcus, facing James head-on. Maybe it started that way. Maybe I was desperate and he was tactical. But what we have now, what's growing between us, that's real. And you can't stand it because for once, your perfect brother found something you can't destroy. James's expression flickered. Surprise, maybe. Or respect. Prove it. How? Kiss him. Right now. Like you mean it. Like he's the only person in the room. James crossed his arms. Show me this is real. Isla turned to Marcus. His face was stone, but his eyes burned. She saw the calculation there, the weighing of risks. She also saw something deeper. Fear. Hope. Need. Marcus. You don't have to do this. I know. She stepped closer, her hand rising to his face. But I want to. The lie felt true when she said it. Or maybe it wasn't a lie anymore. She kissed him. Not soft. Not gentle. Fierce and desperate and honest. Marcus froze for half a heartbeat, then his arms came around her, pulling her close, and he kissed her back like she was oxygen and he was drowning. The room dissolved. There was only his mouth on hers, his hands in her hair, the way he tasted like wine and secrets and something dangerously close to forever. When they broke apart, both breathless, the room was silent. James stared at them, his expression unreadable. Then he smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Well played. He walked out without another word. Victoria followed, icy disapproval radiating from her. Simone lingered, phone lowered for once. That was either the most convincing lie I've ever seen, she said quietly, or you two are more screwed than you realize. She left them alone in the vast dining room, surrounded by half-eaten food and shattered pretenses. Marcus still held Isla, both of them trembling. That wasn't fake, he said. Not a question. An accusation. No. This is a problem. I know. He pulled back, but only slightly. His hands framed her face, thumbs tracing her cheekbones. We agreed. No feelings. Clean exit. I'm a liar, Marcus. You knew that when you hired me. What are you lying about now? Everything. Nothing. She gripped his wrists. I'm lying when I say this doesn't matter. I'm lying when I say I can walk away in 6 weeks. Isla. But I'll do it anyway. Because that's the deal. Something broke in his expression. What if I don't want you to? The confession hung between them, fragile and terrifying. Isla's phone shattered the moment. She pulled it from her clutch, saw her brother's name, and her blood turned to ice. Tyler? What's wrong? Isla. His voice was panicked, slurred. They found her. The girl from the accident. She's alive. And she's talking to the police. The room tilted. Isla grabbed the table for support. What is she saying? That I wasn't alone. That you were there. That you ran. Tyler's breath hitched. Sis, they're reopening the investigation. They want to talk to you. Tonight. Isla looked up at Marcus, saw him watching her with those dark, calculating eyes that missed nothing. I have to go. What's happening? Everything's falling apart. She backed toward the door. This was a mistake. All of it. Isla, wait. But she was already running, heels clicking on marble, the emerald dress suddenly feeling like chains. Behind her, she heard Marcus calling her name, but she couldn't stop. Because the one thing she'd been running from her entire life had finally caught up, and when it dragged her down, it would take Marcus with her. She burst through the front doors into cold night air. The city glittered below the estate, beautiful and merciless. A hand caught her wrist. Marcus, jacket discarded, tie loosened, looking more undone than she'd ever seen him. Whatever this is, we face it together. You don't understand. Then explain it to me. The girl in the car, the one who survived, she's going to tell them I was driving. That I was drunk. That I caused the accident and blamed Tyler. Tears finally came. It's not true, but she's the victim. They'll believe her. I'll go to prison. Everything you built with your father, this whole illusion, it'll be exposed as exactly what it is. A lie built on the back of a criminal. Marcus's grip tightened. Did you do it? Were you driving? No. Then we fight it. With what? Money? Lawyers? Your reputation. She laughed bitterly. This is exactly what James wanted. Proof that I'm toxic. That I'll destroy everything you touch. I don't care what James wants. You should. Because tomorrow, the police will come for me. The media will crucify us both. And your father will spend his last days knowing his son chose a fraud over family. Marcus pulled her close, his forehead pressed to hers. Then we have tonight. That's not enough. It has to be. He kissed her again, softer this time, like she was something precious he was already mourning. Isla kissed him back, tasting salt and desperation and a future that would never exist. When they pulled apart, she memorized his face. The sharp angles, the softness in his eyes that he only showed her. The way he looked at her like she mattered. I'm sorry, she whispered. For what? For making you feel something real. She slipped from his arms and disappeared into the night, leaving Chen standing alone on the steps of his family estate, looking for the first time in his life like a man who'd lost something he couldn't calculate his way back to. Behind him, James watched from a window, phone pressed to his ear, speaking to someone in low, urgent tones. His expression was troubled, conflicted, and something that might have been regret. The police station fluorescent lights made everything look sickly and surreal. Isla sat in a metal chair, still wearing the emerald dress from dinner, now wrinkled and stained with mascara tears. A detective across from her shuffled papers. The clock on the wall read 2:47 a.m. Miss Monroe, we've spoken with Rachel Torres. She claims you were driving the night of the accident. She's lying. Why would she lie? I don't know. But even as Isla said it, pieces clicked into place. Rachel, Tyler's ex-girlfriend. Rachel, who'd been furious when Tyler ended things. Rachel, who'd threatened revenge. The door opened. Marcus strode in wearing the same suit from dinner, now creased, his lawyer trailing behind. A woman in her 50s with steel gray hair and sharper eyes. My client won't be answering any more questions without counsel present, the lawyer announced. The detective sighed. Mr. Chen, this is a police matter. And Miss Monroe is my fiancée. Whatever happens to her happens to me. Marcus's voice left no room for argument. 3 hours later, they emerged into dawn light. Marcus's lawyer had worked magic, buying them time while she investigated Rachel's claims. But the damage was done. News vans already circled. Cameras flashed. Isla heard her name shouted alongside accusations. Marcus's hand found hers. Car. Now. They ran the gauntlet together, his security team forming a barrier. Inside the black SUV, Isla finally broke. You should have stayed away. Not possible. Marcus, this will destroy you. Let it. He turned to face her, and the rawness in his expression stole her breath. I don't care about the company. I don't care about my reputation. I care about you. You can't. We had a deal. Screw the deal. His hand cupped her face. I'm in love with you, Isla. Somewhere between the hospital and the lies and that kiss last night, I fell. Completely. Irreversibly. The confession should have felt like victory. Instead, it felt like a knife. You can't love me. Too late. Marcus. Her voice broke. There's something I haven't told you. About Rachel? About the contract. She forced herself to meet his eyes. I was supposed to record everything. Our conversations. Your vulnerabilities. James offered me double what you paid if I'd help him prove you were emotionally unstable. The air in the car turned to ice. Marcus went very still. What? He approached me a week before you did. He knew about my debts. He knew I was desperate. Tears streamed down her face. But I didn't do it, Marcus. I swear I didn't. I deleted the app he gave me. I never sent him anything. When were you planning to tell me this? I don't know. Never. After. I couldn't find the right time. Marcus pulled away like she'd burned him. So this whole time, while I was falling in love with you, you were working with my brother? I wasn't working with him. I chose you. Did you? Or did you just choose the bigger payout? His voice was surgical, precise, designed to cut. Tell me, Isla. That kiss last night, was that real? Or were you just securing your investment? How can you even ask that? Because I don't know what's true anymore. He turned to face her fully, and the betrayal in his eyes shattered her. You let me believe you were different, that you actually cared. But you were just another person trying to use me. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? His laugh was bitter. I opened myself to you. I showed you parts of myself I've never shown anyone. And all along, you were deciding whether to sell me out to my brother. I didn't sell you out. Only because you found a better deal. The accusation hung between them, toxic and final. Isla's phone rang. Tyler's name flashed. She answered with shaking hands. Sis, where are you? Rachel just recanted her statement. She admitted she lied. Said someone paid her to accuse you. Who? She won't say. But the police dropped everything. You're clear. Relief should have flooded through her. Instead, she felt hollow. Because across from her, Marcus looked at her like she was a stranger. Marcus, did you hear that? Rachel lied. Someone paid her. I heard. This means I'm free. We can fix this. Can we? He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, head in his hands. Because from where I'm sitting, everything we built was a lie. You lied about James. I lied about why I needed you. We lied to my father, to ourselves, to each other. Not everything was a lie. How do I know that? How do I trust anything you say now? The question was a blade between her ribs. You don't, she said quietly. You just have to choose to. Like you chose me over James? Yes. Exactly like that. She reached for his hand. He let her take it but didn't squeeze back. Marcus, I know I broke your trust. I know I should have told you from the beginning. But I'm telling you now. I'm choosing you now. Completely. No more secrets. Except the ones you're still keeping. She pulled back. What does that mean? It means I had my own team investigate Rachel. They found something interesting. His eyes met hers, cold and calculating again. The warmth from last night completely gone. The person who paid Rachel to lie wasn't James. It was Victoria. The world tilted. Your stepmother? She wanted to prove you were toxic. That you'd destroy me. She figured if she could expose you as a criminal, I'd end the engagement. My father would die disappointed. And James would have leverage to take back the company. Marcus stood, putting distance between them. But here's what I can't figure out. Did you know? Know what? That Victoria approached your brother 3 days ago. Offered to pay all his medical bills if he'd convince you to leave me. Ice flooded Isla's veins. Tyler wouldn't. Wouldn't he? For his sister? To save you from someone like me. Marcus, I don't know what you're talking about. Your brother called you 16 times yesterday. You ignored every call. Why? Because I was with you. Or because you knew what he was going to say. That you had a way out. A clean exit with money and no consequences. Marcus grabbed his jacket. Tell me the truth, Isla. Did Tyler tell you about Victoria's offer? The question was a test. A trap. And Isla realized with sickening clarity that Tyler had left her a voicemail yesterday. One she hadn't listened to because she'd been too caught up in Marcus's world. I don't know, she whispered. I didn't listen to his message. Then listen to it now. With trembling hands, Isla pulled up her voicemail. Tyler's voice filled the car. Isla, we need to talk. Some woman named Victoria Chen called. She's offering to pay everything, all my bills, if you'll just walk away from Marcus. I told her no, but... Sis, maybe you should take it. This guy, his family, they're dangerous. I don't want you getting hurt. Call me. The message ended. Silence filled the car. Marcus's expression was unreadable. So Tyler tried to protect you. Tried to give you an exit. And I didn't take it. Because you love me? Or because you wanted to see how this played out? Because I love you, you idiot. She grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. I love you. Completely. Messily. In a way that terrifies me. I'm not leaving. I'm not choosing the easy path. I'm choosing you. For one perfect moment, she thought she'd reached him. Then his phone rang. He answered, his face draining of color. When? Is he stable? I'm coming now. He hung up. When he looked at Isla, she saw devastation. My father. He had a stroke. They don't know if he'll make it through the night. Marcus, I'm so sorry. I have to go to the hospital. I'm coming with you. No. The word was final. You've done enough. What does that mean? It means maybe Victoria was right. Maybe you're toxic. Maybe everyone who warned me was right. He reached for the door handle. Maybe the only real thing between us was the contract. And that expired the moment you lied to me. Marcus, please. I'll have my lawyer transfer the final payment. We're done. He climbed out of the car. Isla scrambled after him, but his security team held her back gently but firmly. She watched him walk away, shoulders rigid, heading toward another black car. Marcus. Her scream echoed across the parking lot. Don't do this. Don't walk away. He paused, half-turned. For a moment, she thought he'd come back. I paid you to lie, he said. I don't get to be angry that you did. Then he was gone, the car disappearing into morning traffic. Isla stood alone in the parking lot as the sun rose, wearing a wrinkled emerald dress, her heart in pieces on the pavement. Around her, the city woke up, indifferent to her destruction. Her phone buzzed. A bank transfer. $100,000. Payment in full. Contract completed. She'd never felt poorer in her life. Behind her, she didn't see Chen standing in the shadows of the police station, watching everything. His expression was complex, guilt and calculation, and something that might have been genuine regret. He pulled out his phone, dialed. It's done, he said quietly. But I think we made a mistake. On the other end, Victoria's voice was cold. Mistakes can be corrected. Meet me at the hospital. We finish this today. James hung up, staring at Isla's broken figure in the distance. Then he made a choice. One that would change everything. He walked toward her instead of his car. Isla Monroe. She turned. James stood 10 feet away, hands in his pockets, looking nothing like the predator from dinner. He looked tired. Human. Come to gloat. Come to apologize. He stepped closer. And to tell you the truth. I'm done with truth. It only destroys things. This truth might save them. James glanced around the empty parking lot, then back to her. Victoria didn't just want you gone. She wanted Marcus broken. Unstable enough that the board would vote to remove him as CEO. I went along with it because I wanted what he had. The company. My father's respect. He exhaled. But watching you two last night, the way he looked at you. That wasn't fake, Isla. And I destroyed it anyway. Why are you telling me this? Because my father is dying. And before he goes, he deserves to see his son happy. Actually happy. James pulled out his phone, showed her a video. This is from the dinner. Watch. She watched herself kiss Marcus. Watched the way his entire body softened. Watched the moment he fell. And behind them, barely visible in the background, James's face. The envy there wasn't for the company or the money. It was for the connection. For something real. I've spent 5 years hating him, James said quietly. But the truth is, I just wanted what he has. The ability to care about something more than winning. So what now? Now you go to the hospital. You tell Marcus everything. And I'll handle Victoria. He won't believe me. He will. Because I'm coming with you. And I'm telling him the truth too. The hospital hallways smelled like disinfectant and dying hope. Isla still wore the emerald dress, now thoroughly ruined. James walked beside her in his wrinkled suit. They looked like survivors of a war. Outside David Chen's room, Marcus stood with Victoria and Simone. He looked destroyed. When he saw Isla, something flashed across his face. Relief. Anger. Longing. All of it disappearing behind the wall he'd rebuilt. What are you doing here? She's here because I brought her. James stepped forward. Brother, we need to talk. Not now. Yes, now. Before father wakes up. Before you waste whatever time he has left being miserable because of lies I helped create. Marcus's expression turned dangerous. What did you do? Everything. James looked at Isla, then back to Marcus. The investigation into Isla, I started it. I paid Rachel to lie. But Victoria took it further. She paid Tyler, threatened him. She wanted Isla destroyed so completely you'd have no choice but to let her go. You son of a... I know what I am. James held up his hands. But Isla didn't know. She didn't take any of it. She chose you over money, over safety, over everything. And you threw her away because you were scared. I wasn't scared. Yes, you were. Isla's voice cut through. You were terrified that I was like everyone else. That I'd leave. That loving me would hurt. She stepped closer. And I was scared too. Scared you'd find out I was broken and poor and desperate. So I lied. I kept secrets. I convinced myself it was to protect you, but really, I was protecting myself. Marcus stared at her. You should have told me about James from the beginning. I should have. And you should have told me you were already falling before that kiss. She closed the distance between them. We're both liars, Marcus. The only difference is, I'm willing to be honest about it now. Touching, Victoria's voice dripped ice. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed. But it changes nothing. David is sedated. When he wakes, I'll tell him the truth. That you hired a fake fiancé. That you lied to him while he was dying. No, David's voice, weak but clear, came from inside the room. You won't. They rushed inside. David lay propped up, pale but conscious. His eyes found Isla. Come here, child. Isla approached on shaking legs. Marcus followed, standing behind her. Mr. Chen, I'm so sorry. We lied to you. About everything. Did you? David's eyes twinkled. Or did you lie to yourselves? I don't understand. I knew from the first visit. I'm dying, not stupid. He coughed, and Marcus adjusted his pillow with infinite care. I knew my son hired you. I knew why. And I let it continue because for the first time in his life, I saw him feel something real. Marcus made a broken sound. Father. You spent your whole life calculating, Marcus. Building walls. Protecting yourself. David reached for his hand. This girl, she broke through. She made you human again. That's not fake. That's a miracle. But we lied to you. About the beginning, yes. But not about the end. David looked at Isla. You love him. Yes. And you, son? Do you love her? Marcus looked at Isla. Really looked at her. Past the ruined dress and the smudged makeup and the mistakes. He saw the girl who'd stood in a gallery surrounded by rejection and still believed in beauty. The woman who'd sat with his dying father and made him laugh. The person who'd chosen him over money, safety, and sense. Yes, Marcus whispered. I love her. Completely. Then stop wasting time. David squeezed their hands. Life is too short for pride. Too precious for fear. You found each other. Hold on. But Victoria will keep her mouth shut. David's voice gained strength. Or she'll find herself with nothing. The prenup is very clear about attempted sabotage. Victoria's face went white. She turned and left without a word. Simone watched her go, then looked at Isla. For what it's worth, the girl said quietly, I'm glad you stayed. You're good for him. She left too. Only James remained, standing awkwardly by the door. I should go. James. Marcus's voice stopped him. Thank you. For destroying everything? For fixing it. Marcus paused. And for reminding me that family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the people who choose to stay when leaving would be easier. James's eyes went bright. He nodded once, then left. David settled back against his pillows. Now get out, both of you. I need rest. And you two need to figure out what happens next. Outside, in the hallway, Marcus and Isla stood in silence. The morning sun streamed through hospital windows, painting everything gold. I don't know how to do this, Marcus said finally. The real thing. Not the contract version. Neither do I. We'll probably mess it up. Definitely. You'll see all my worst parts. The control issues. The emotional constipation. The fact that I calculate the odds of every conversation. And you'll see mine. The impulsive decisions. The artistic temperament. The way I eat cereal for dinner 4 times a week. Marcus smiled. Actually smiled. That sounds perfect. It sounds like a disaster. The best things usually are. He pulled her close, and she went willingly, burying her face in his chest. He smelled like hospital soap and expensive cologne and home. I'm sorry, they said simultaneously. Stop, Marcus said. No more apologies. Just stay. Choose me every day, even when it's hard. Even when I'm impossible. I will if you will. Deal. This time when he kissed her, there were no cameras, no contract, no lies. Just two broken people choosing to be broken together to build something real from the wreckage of their carefully constructed walls. 3 months later, Chen passed peacefully in his sleep. His last words were to Marcus, "You found her." "Hold on." Marcus did. The wedding was small. Just Tyler, James, Simone, and a handful of friends. Isla wore a simple white dress she'd found at a vintage shop. Marcus wore the same suit from the night they'd met. They said their vows in the same gallery where it all began, surrounded by Isla's paintings, every one of them sold now, bought by people who saw the beauty she'd always known was there. When the officiant pronounced them married, Marcus pulled her close. "Still predictable?" he asked, referencing that first night. "Devastatingly so," she replied. "Good. I'm counting on it. What happens now?" "Now we live. Messily. Honestly. Together." Sounds like a terrible plan. The worst. They kissed to applause, and somewhere in the back, Chen watched his brother finally, completely, break free of the walls he'd spent a lifetime building. And for the first time in years, James felt something that might have been peace. Years later, they'd tell their children the story. How their mother was hired to pretend. How their father fell in love with the lie until it became truth. How sometimes the most beautiful things grow from the most broken beginnings. But on that day, in that gallery, surrounded by art and hope and second chances, Marcus and Isla simply held each other. Two damaged people who'd found something worth fighting for. Not perfection. Not a fairy tale. Just real, messy, complicated love. The best kind there is. The end.